Welcome back. I'm Stan the Annuity Man. Today's topic is deferred income annuity pros and cons. And this is a big one because with every annuity type, there's limitations and benefits. And I'm going to explain them to you so you can make a very good decision whether a deferred income annuity fits for you or not. We are going to cover a lot today about deferred income annuities. We're going to talk about what is a deferred income annuity, what does it solve for in your portfolio. We're going to talk about specific benefits and limitations. We're also going to talk about structuring choices, how you quote it, and where it really fits in your portfolio. Also, too, I've written a book on it. You need to get this as part of the learning process with deferred income annuities. It's a deferred income annuity owner's manual. And if you go to the link below, I'll send you one for free, and it will come in this really nice Willy Wonka gold foil package. So what is a deferred income annuity? In my world, it's income later. It's an income later guarantee. You need income in the future, and a deferred income annuity can guarantee that amount, that payment amount, at a future start date. Some people call it a longevity annuity. A lot of the financial journalists talk about that. What's longevity risk? It's solving for payments that you cannot outlive. That's what a deferred income annuity does. Remember, the income stream is contractually guaranteed. You can't outlive it. And you can structure it with you and your wife. And with deferred income annuities, income starts typically as soon as 13 months and as far out as 45 years. So what does deferred income annuity solve for? It solves for income. It solves for pension income. When you think about Social Security and you go, well, I'm 63 and I'm planning on turning on my Social Security at age 70. A lot of you are doing that because you get the higher payout because you're going to be older, right? Same exact principle with deferred income annuities. I need income to start later. The later it starts, the older I am, the higher the payment. And with the deferred income annuity, it can combine with Social Security or whatever income streams that you have also in place for that income floor. I call it the income floor, that guaranteed amount of income that's coming to your bank account every single month that you know is going to be there, that's not going to be affected by the market, and that you can never outlive. That's what deferred income annuities solve for. So let's talk about the pros and cons, the benefits and the limitation. The pros of a deferred income annuity is that it's contractual. Once you get that contract and once you see that guaranteed income amount on that page, you're going to get it. Regardless of what happens politically, economically, it doesn't matter. It's contractual. You've transferred the risk to the annuity company to pay you at that specific time that you've chosen. Another benefit too, and another pro, is that with most contracts that are not life only, you can change the start date one time after the policy has been issued, which is kind of good. Life changes, things change. Maybe you need the income to start at a later time as opposed to when you filled out the application. You can do that with deferred income annuities. It does give you that flexibility. Also, a pro, it's customizable. You can set it up any way you want. You also can set it up to what I call handcuff the beneficiaries to make sure that they don't show up at your funeral in a Ferrari that they paid cash for, that they're making payments because they will show up at your funeral in a Ferrari. Some other pros about deferred income annuities is they can be used in an IRA, a non-IRA, or a Roth IRA. There's specific rules with the traditional IRA part of it. You can't defer it past 70 and a half, and we'll cover that in a future video, which I would encourage you to go to, about qualified longevity annuity contracts if you're doing a deferred income annuity in an IRA and deferring past 70 and a half. So go to that. But those are the pros of a deferred income annuity. Let's talk about the limitations of a deferred income annuity. They're rigid contracts. There's no liquidity. They're irrevocable. Most of them don't have any type of liquidity provisions. And if they do, anytime an annuity company gives something away like that, they're charging for it. They have the big buildings for a reason. They have the big logos on the plane for a reason. They're not philanthropists. So deferred income annuity limitations comes down to there's no market growth. In other words, there's opportunity loss. If I'd have put it in the market, I would have done better. That's an apples and oranges comparison. Deferred income annuities are contracts. They're not investments. You're transferring the risk so that the annuity company will pay you for the rest of your life at a specific time in the future. But the limitations are that it's a rigid contract. You're not getting any type of market growth. And also, there's no trackable interest rate during the deferral years. And you're saying, well, that's crazy. Why would they do that? Well, what they do, the annuity companies, is they enhance the payout the longer you allow them to hold on to the money. I'm from the South, so I say the longer it cooks, the more you get. So that's the limitations of a deferred income annuity. So pros and cons of deferred income annuities, which outweighs the other? I'm not sure you can lean either way. There's arguments against a deferred income annuity. There's arguments for a deferred income annuity. It really comes down to what you're trying to solve for, and it really comes down to the two questions. What do I want the money to contractually do, and when do I want those contractual guarantees to start? Understanding the limitations and the benefits, both, and weighing them both will allow you to make a good decision. Maybe that the fact that there's no market growth or it's a very rigid contract means you don't buy one. That's fine, but you have to know both good and bad going in. So there's no pound the table reason to buy it or not to buy it. You just have to understand it in full. So I got a call the other day and the gentleman said, I'm not sure when I need income, but I know I'm going to need income in the future, and I kind of want to plan for inflation. And there's no annuity on the planet that perfectly addresses inflation. Even though an agent will tell you they have it, they don't. So how do we go about doing it? This gentleman had $400,000. He said, I want to plan for future income, but I don't know when I want to start that. So here's what we did. We split the purchase up. We bought 4 contracts, $100,000 each, and we deferred them differently. So he was 60 years old. So we had one starting at age 67, one starting at age 70, one starting at age 72, and then the other started at age 75. Now, he structured it so that he could change that, but now what does he have in place? He's laddered the deferred income annuity purchase for income to start at different increments, different years in the future. Forget inflation, he's solved for it. Let's talk about structuring choices with deferred income annuities. Once again, customizable. You just have to tell me what you're trying to achieve, and if it's joint, who that person is. I'm going to need dates of birth because it's based on your life expectancy, not interest rates. The way the pricing is they're looking at life expectancy at the time you take the payment. Interest rates play a secondary role, and the income stream is a combination of return of principal plus interest. So you can structure it a myriad of ways. You can add cost of living adjustment increases to the payment, which sounds fantastic on the surface, but the catch is this. If you add that, then the annuity company, because they have the big buildings, they're going to lower the payment. So if you're interested in an increase like a COLA, cost of living adjustment, have me quote both. Have me show you how they price it in with and without, but understand that you can structure these things exactly how you want them to work. So how do you even quote a deferred income annuity? Well, first of all, you have to find someone like me that represents all carriers. We're going to quote all carriers. I have no favorites. I'm going to go into the quote. We're going to quote every single carrier based on the parameters you give me. It's like buying a plane ticket. I don't know who's going to finish first. And every 7 to 10 days, the quotes change, like a gallon of milk. So the quoting process is I quote all carriers. I send you the PDF of that quote. You have to make a decision 7 to 10 days. You don't have to. There's no urgency to buy an annuity ever. It's a contract. But if you want that specific quote with that specific carrier, then you'd have to move on it and lock that quote in. But that's how you quote it. Tell me exactly what you want to solve for, whether it's a lump sum. How much does this lump sum solve for contractually from a guaranteed payment standpoint? Or, hey, Stan, we need this amount per month. How much would it take to create that? Either or, it's a commodity quote that will run through all carriers for you. So you've got the pros and cons of these things. You've got the pros and the benefits of deferred income annuities and the limitations and the cons of deferred income annuities. So where does it fit in your portfolio? It fits for future income needs. So if you don't need income in the future, guess what? You don't need a deferred income annuity. But if you do, and if you think you do, and if you want to solve for it for maybe you or your spouse or partner, then they might fit and you might want to quote it. Now, what you need to do as part of the education process is get my Deferred Income Annuity Owner's Manual, which I'll send you for free in this really nice shiny package. And I also encourage you to go to my video on qualified longevity annuity contracts and the rules of them, because guess what? That's a deferred income annuity too.